Hi, this is Susanna from Catholic Disciples Matchmaking Service. Today's question is, most of the time I have heard that it's the man who has to pursue the girl for marriage. Are we not allowed to do the other way around? If yes, what are the Christian ways we can tell a man that we are interested in him and want to marry him? So the answer is there's no allowed or not allowed, there's no right or wrong. It's not exactly a moral issue, but more of a prudential issue. Each person can decide what they think is wise and good and helpful, and you're free to do that. That said, a lot of people do have a lot of opinions, and so do I. So I thought I'd share with you my perspective. I feel like it's good for either the girl or the guy to start with the initial contact, to be able to just reach out to show the other person you exist. So, for example, on the matchmaking service, to send a message, just saying, hi, your profile seems interesting, or in a meeting or youth group or conference or a social gathering, to go up to someone and find something to talk about. I think that's totally fine and totally normal. But here's where I might get a little controversial. I think that it's very good after that for the man to take the lead and to take the initiative in starting a relationship or asking the woman if she's interested in a relationship, or and beyond that as well, to ask her if she wants to get married, and to take the lead, take the initiative in how the relationship is going. And you might say, why does that matter, Susanna? How does it matter who starts? And I guess what I have noticed in myself and in a lot of other women is that we really feel valued when a man is able to step up and do that. A lot of women feel that the load of making decisions or taking the initiative is often left on them, and they feel so blessed by a man who is able to step up and say, hey, what is this? To define the relationship talk, and who shows that he's interested enough, he's willing to take the risk, and put himself out there. And I've seen men also seem to thrive and do well when they are the ones taking the initiative versus being very passive, which sometimes happens, and sometimes leaves women feeling, well, we have to just be the one to do it because he won't. So I think both men and women thrive and do well and feel good about themselves and each other when the guy does take that initiative. So does that mean that if a guy doesn't show interest, a woman just has to, just suffer it up and just deal with it? No, there are some things women can do to maybe to show interest or show that they're open. I've seen a lot of women do this, and you probably have too. It's where you may not go out and ask a guy out, but you show him that you're interested in him asking you out by perhaps initiating a conversation or smiling and laughing when he makes a joke, or finding something that you have in common to talk about, or mentioning a common event that he might be interested in going to as well. Now, supposing you've dropped all those hints and the guy just doesn't respond and just doesn't take the hint, then perhaps you should let it go, because you don't want a guy who's not willing to step up and take it further. So don't feel that if a guy doesn't show interest, you have to pursue, or you have to be the one to make it happen, because you need someone who values you and who's willing to step up and choose you. But does that mean that all of the risk is on the guy, that he just has to be the one taking all the risks? Not really, because a relationship it's more like a two-way street where you're not jumping into a proposal right at the beginning. You first get to know each other. It's a sort of back and forth movement where one shows interest, the other one responds with further interest, and you sort of keep going forward. If one is showing all the interest and the other isn't, then it's not going anywhere. Don't propose, right? It has to gradually develop. I'll share a little bit about my story. When my husband and I first met, we started talking at a retreat. Actually, I was the one who asked him a question. I said, hi, I'm Susanna. I've heard your name is Joel, and what's your story? And he jumped in. He began to tell me his whole story. But then we didn't exchange contact details or anything. We just went home. But a day or two later, he sent me a message on Facebook and asked me about my testimony. He asked me if I'd written more about my journey and my volunteer life, and I took that as a sign of interest, which it was. And I very casually said, "Hey, here's my number if you have any further questions." And he took that as a sign of interest and he texted me. And so it went back and forth, and we reached a stage where we were texting a lot. But then I asked him, after a lot of days and weeks of texting, I asked him, "Hey, like, what is this? Why are we texting so much? You haven't even asked me out." And he stepped right in there and he said, "I'm sorry, I want to express a real interest. I'd like for us to get to know each other." And so that was good. We eventually went on a date, and after each date we would talk to each other about where we were, what we were thinking. So eventually we reached a place where we both said, "Hey, like, I see this, I can see, I think that I would be open to having a future with you, talk through some of the difficult topics." And so eventually he proposed. So it wasn't a surprise exactly that he proposed, but the how and when and when exactly was a surprise. But it was a dance, like, where he took a step, I took a step. We had to go through the process in order to be able to reach a place where there was a proposal. So I would suggest nobody proposes at the beginning. Take time to know each other. But guys, step up, take the initiative, ask the girl. If you see a girl who shows interest, try to figure out, like, am I willing to take a risk and to ask her out and even to face rejection. And women, be open. Don't chase guys, because it doesn't value you as you should be valued when you pursue somebody who continues to not show interest. But show that you're open. Be willing to, take those little risks as well. And if a guy doesn't respond, it's okay.